YouTube, what it do, man? It's your guy CJ back with another video, back with another episode of the CJ Wilkins YouTube channel. I want to make a video, man. I've been seeing a lot of content on social media and on YouTube about the current job market. It doesn't seem like any companies are really hiring people. And it seems like everyone and their mama is currently looking for a job or looking for a new job, right? And I have to agree with the overall sentiment that it doesn't appear that anyone is hiring, right? There are people who've been looking for jobs for a month, 3 months, 6 months, and for whatever reason, well, I know what the reasons are, or some of them, but for whatever reason, people can't seem to get interviews, or they'll get an interview and they'll get ghosted, or they'll find a way to, not respond to you. And I'm talking about the employers, right? And it's a lot going on right now, man. It's an election year, of course, so there's always gonna be some trickle down effects politically as to why things are the way that they are, but I'm 35 years old, man, and I've been working for about, I guess I had my first job when I was 15, so I've been working for 20 years now, various jobs and various different careers and things like that. And I can tell you, man, it's never been this hard to find a job. I can tell you, like, as someone who has worked in maybe 3 different industries, had a bunch of jobs. I've never been someone who's really big on get a job and stay there for 20 years and, retire and hope to get a pension and a gold watch, because the boomer generation who was able to stay at one job and only have to work one job for 30, 40 years and, retire and get a company pen and stuff like that. Those days are over with, bro. With automation and advancement and artificial intelligence and things like that, it's hard, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, those days are those days are gone, man. But it's incredibly hard right now to find a job because, one, companies are downsizing. Companies are trying to automate, or the real current trend is companies are trying to limit overhead, right? They're trying to lower overhead by trying to maximize the workload of the people that they have without hiring too many new people. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not trying to really bring in too many people, you know what I'm saying? Like, because the economy, man, I would say, historically, this is one of the worst economies we've ever had, I know the Biden administration, they fabricated a jobs report earlier this year saying that the economy's great, and you know what I mean, like, they've created 900,000 jobs, and both of those items have been debunked. One, because people who are actually living the regular American's experience can tell you this economy isn't good. If you have 2 eyes and maybe half a brain cell, you could tell that this economy is one of the absolute worst economies you've ever seen in your life, right? But then also, companies just are not hiring, man. Like, when I'm looking on Indeed or LinkedIn, so I want y'all to try this, right? When you go to LinkedIn, and some of you guys probably already do, but this is one of the most disheartening things. Like, if you're in the market for a new job or trying to find a new role, when you go on LinkedIn and you just click on any job, right? A lot of the jobs, one, are ghost jobs. I'll talk about that in a minute. A lot of them are ghost jobs, right? So they don't really have an intentionality of hiring anyone. But when you go to these jobs, man, and you apply, you're gonna see very quick how many people have already applied for the job. And these aren't even jobs that have been up for a long time. Like, some of these are jobs that have been up for I saw a job yesterday, man. that had only been up for like 2 hours, and it had like 300 applicants already. And I'm like, what in the hell, man? So one problem is that everyone is looking for jobs. So there's far more people looking for jobs than there are jobs available. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. Like that's the conundrum that we're finding ourselves in America right now. And I'm sure that it's not unique only to America, right? But that's one of the main problems that people who are currently in the job market are facing. It's just a historic amount of competition, man. Like, back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, when things were more regulated and overpopulation wasn't a problem, even though the boomer generation was at that time the biggest, when America had the largest like birth rates and things. So from a size standpoint, the creation of the largest generation, so to speak, after World War II and all that, right? People still didn't have to compete with that many people for jobs. Like if it was a job opening, you'll, what I'm saying, get your resume together, whatever, or you'll go down to the company. They'll have a sign in the front window saying looking for help or looking for work, and you'll go and you'll put your suit and tie on, and you'll go down and introduce yourself, and shake hands, and they'll talk to you a little bit, and you'll get a job. And at max, you may be competing with 5 to 10 other people for a particular job, But over time, man, that has drastically inflated, as everything else has in this country. So now, when you go to jobs, man, like on LinkedIn, I just be blown away, man. You apply to a job that was posted a week ago, you'll be dropping your name in a hat of like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 applicants, man. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about that is, like, with so many applicants, like being like, in the ring with you, think about how perfect your resume has to be, or your cover letter has to be, because you got to understand this also, man. Your job application or your employment, cover letter, it's not even being reviewed by a human, man. Speaking of AI, your resumes and your cover letters, man, they're being reviewed by technology and AI, right? So you got to think, like, if you're just someone who do have the qualifications and you do have the time in and you do have the experience, say you are like missing 1 or 2 or 3 keywords, or you don't have enough keywords to even like register when it's going through the system, it'll never get to the hands of a human. A human being will never get hands on your resume or your cover letter, and not all cases, but I'd say in most cases, your resume or your cover letter, it doesn't even get to the hands of a person, unless you know a person individually, unless you know a person by name who you can just slide your resume to. But even in 2024, that's not as effective as it used to be, because it kind of used to be like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But now it's kind of like, even if you know people, there still seems to be a glass ceiling that kind of like, boxes you in, or it limits you from being able to get to the next level, or like to another opportunity, So you just gotta think about it, man. Like, there's so many people applying for jobs, man. Like when I'm on Reddit, when I'm on like, social media boards and things like that, everyone's talking about the same thing. There are no jobs. There are no jobs, and it's frustrating, man, because this current administration is telling you that it's an all-time high in job creation, when we know that's not true. But when you are trying desperately, like people going like a year, man. I read a post on Reddit the other day where someone was like, man, I've been unemployed since the pandemic, and I've been trying to find work here and there. And it's so bad in some cities, man, in some states, people can't even get fast food jobs, man. People can't even get warehouse jobs. And we're coming up on peak season, man. Like, we're coming up on like the holiday season. So, peak warehouse jobs, it should be easy to get. Like, it shouldn't be that difficult to go down to a staffing agency and like, hey, I just need any type of like job, and like, they put you in a warehouse somewhere, because warehouse work is normally a high turnover. But man, the job economy right now is like, it's crazy, and it's going through a thing right now, man, to where it's like, I'm not I'm not an economist or anything like that, but I'm telling you what's happening is there's a lot of things like happening right now. Like during the pandemic and during the quarantine, like a lot of people became inundated with remote work. And I'm a big advocate of remote work. I honestly don't think that it makes sense for most industries to have to require you to go in person. Like unless you're like unless you have a profession where you have to be face to face with a person. Like if you're a teacher and you have to teach your kids in person, or if you're like an auto mechanic, I can't virtually fix your engine or change your oil. I gotta be in person to do that. So jobs like that, or like you're a surgeon, like I can't perform heart surgery or brain surgery on you, virtually. You know what I mean? But a lot of jobs, like if it's a manual labor job, you gotta be in person to do it. But a lot of jobs, man, customer service based jobs and stuff, where you're not seeing a person face to face, there should be nothing wrong with you like working remote. But that's a different conversation for a different day. Because I can beat that horse. I can beat that drum until I'm blue in the face, But yeah, man, like it's this job situation thing in America is crazy. And it's to the point to where like even people who have jobs and want a new job, a lot of people are kind of stuck at their current job, man. A lot of people are currently stuck at their current employer because it's hard to get. It used to be like this, right? And I'm relatively young, but I'm still old enough to remember. And my granddad used to always say this, like, it's easy to get more money when you have money. And it used to be easy to get a job if you have a job. Like, it used to be hard to get a job if you didn't have a job. Like, if you're on somebody's couch and you submitting resumes and stuff like that. Normally, if it's a gap in your employment, people may be hesitant. Like, staffing agencies in years past would be hesitant about, giving you an opportunity. Or they'll be like, man, why you not working now? It'll be harder. Not impossible, but it'll be harder for an employment opportunity to kind of fall in your lap. But if you had a job, man, it used to be so easy for like a prospective employer to say, okay, you get up and go to work every day. You got a job right now. Let me slide you over into this because you already working. You already showing that, like you have the discipline to wake up at a certain time every day, and you're reliable to go to this place every day where you trade your labor for money, So it used to be easy, but now, man, Biden and Harris, and not to get too political, man, but this economy right now, man, like they got it to where it's like if you have a job, it's almost impossible to get a job. If you have a job right now, if you are currently employed and you're looking for work, it is hard to get a job if you have a job. That's how crazy this current market is, you know what I mean? Like as it pertains to searching for work and things like that, But back to what I was talking about also, man, like the ghost jobs. A lot of companies are posting this thing called ghost jobs. And if you don't know what ghost jobs are job postings that appear to be real. Some of them really don't even appear to be real. Some of them you could tell is cap if you read the descriptions and go through the salary requirements. Or the best test I use, man, is sometimes if you Google jobs and stuff, it'll have this like funky website that don't even seem real. It'll be like jobs XXI whatever, or it'll be like a job posting, but the site attached to it, if you click on the link, it'll be like really like a fake looking job site. Like you got the LinkedIn's and the Indeeds and the remote jobs that are like legitimate, but it'll take you to a job site that don't even sound real. You know what I'm saying? But what a lot of companies are doing right now, man, because they're not hiring, because there are a lot of companies have have been in like a 1 year hiring freeze. You know what I'm saying? But they're not really announcing it. They don't really tell you. Like a lot of companies they are not employing like new people. You know, they hire people for like BS jobs or like the low pay entry level jobs that anyone with a post can do. They're hired for that, but for roles that are like, you know, that may require a little bit more skill, for roles that are gonna pay you a livable wage and stuff like that, they're not really hiring for roles like that. You know what I mean? But what a lot of companies are doing is that they're posting these jobs to show, or to attempt to show their prospective investors and their board of directors, to show, hey, we are a growing company, we have job openings, right? And you know, we're trying to expand and we're trying to grow. And they actually have no intentionality on actually hiring people for these roles, because I've seen job postings that people have applied for in January of 2024, and it'll be like the job will be posted for 3 months, man, and you'll go on Indeed, and it'll be like, you know, job was posted 3 months ago, and you're like, dang, like in 3 months you haven't found anyone that qualified for this role. And then you'll let some time pass and you'll come back in August and it'll be a new job posting for that same job. You're like, dang, man. So they stopped interviewing for that job and now they interviewing for it again, like as if it's a new job posting, but it's not a new job posting. What happened was they had a job posted that they never had any intention of actually hiring for. And you know, and some companies do it to, like, you know, they do it to fill up the pipeline of potential applicants. You know what I'm saying? Like they do it for like data retrieval, like they want to get data, and they also want to fill up their banks on, like, you know, on potential applicants. So if we ever do get back to a place where we could actually interview and hire people for these jobs, we already got like a short list of candidates that may be a good fit if they're still in the job market, right? So that's another component. There's so many different angles to this stuff, man. There's so much I want to talk about, but I'm not gonna say because I don't want to offend the YouTube algorithm or whatever. But yeah, man, like a lot of these ghost jobs are out here, man. You have to be careful because a lot of it is just data collection. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna go to an actual person. It's not gonna go to an actual company. And sometimes too, man, like when you back to what I was saying on the ghost jobs for the weird websites. A lot of times, man, if you'll see a job posting and it'll be for like some fraudulent sounding website. If you actually go to the company or the organization's website, what a job is for, you won't even see that job posted. You know what I'm saying? It'll be like a Google, I give you an example. It'll be like a job for, like, say you're like a project manager or something, or you're like a social worker for like a local hospital, or for Google or whatever, right? And if you just Google project management jobs, Google, for an example, for this salary range, it'll show you on Google, but it'll be attached to some website that's not google.com. And you won't even see it if you were to actually type in Google careers and go to the Google official website, to where it would be actually, like, you know, like posted at. You won't even actually see. You wouldn't see the job posted there. It'll be like, you know, like a pie in the face type thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's just super, super challenging right now. If you are someone, and if you are currently in the job market, or you're currently on the hunt for like a new role, the best advice I can give you, man, is 3 things that you have to do. One, you just gotta be patient. You know, try to have something going on in the meanwhile. Find a way to pay bills any way you can until you can really find your actual opportunity that's going to be fruitful to you. You know, so you gotta be patient. Another thing too, man, utilize all the possible resources that you have to your disposal. So it's like I know some people are against it, and this ties into number one with the being patient. You got to utilize all resources. So try to network, but again, networking may be a little futile in today's time because the market is so oversaturated. Because there's more people looking for work than there are jobs available. Even knowing someone may not be as beneficial today as it was 12 years ago. But try to utilize all resources. Like there's staffing agencies in every city, and I know a lot of staffing agencies have shitty jobs. They don't have jobs that people actually want. You know, a lot of staffing agencies have jobs that that are the reason why jobs are at staffing agencies is because the companies can't fill those positions on their own, or because it's such low pay nobody wants them in this economy. So you do have to consider that option. I'm not telling you guys to go work at a staffing agency and go, cut your salary in half and go get a hospitality or a warehouse job that doesn't really pay you a lot. But utilize all your resources, because sometimes even with those staffing agency jobs, they may have a diamond in the rough opportunity that may exist. They may have some clerical or admin role or whatever, whatever industry you work in. I never want people to think I'm crapping on people who do manual labor jobs. Manual labor jobs is what keeps all countries going, but especially America, So that's number two, man. Number three, you have to play the game of attrition, right? You just have to keep putting in work. And I know, I don't know if it's a word, but I would call it like application fatigue, where you just get so tired and drained. Because it's draining creating resumes and cover letters for particular roles. If you're really somebody who's actively applying for jobs and you're using AI and you're using, resource tools to build a perfect resume, to build a cover letter, only to never hear anything back, or you'll get an interview and then they'll just ghost you. Like they won't even give you a follow up, like, hey, we're gonna go in a different direction or whatever. You can get burned out pretty quick, man. And it's really at a point now to where looking for a job is a job, and people used to say that in vain sometimes, man, but no, it's the truth. Like looking for a job is a job within itself, but you just gotta keep chucking along, man. The fourth thing I'll say, because you kind of have to at some point, keep applying for jobs, keep putting applications and cover letters in. I always try to end my videos in a solution, right? The fourth thing I want y'all to do, man, is and I know people go online and they say they hint at these all the time, but they never go specific with like actual ideas. So, but try to find a way to create monetization on your own. Like create at least one, two, preferably. But and this is for someone if you looking for a job where you're not. If you got a job you like and you cool with and you don't want to leave, and you just clicked on this video because you're bored or you're trying to get through a shift or whatever, or you're sitting in the car, cool. But if you're looking for a job, man, and you've been on the job hunt for 2 weeks, 2 years, 2 months, whenever, you should have at least an additional, I say 2 additional ways to where you have money coming in every month. The direct deposit from your employer from your 9 to 5 is great, but you need to have at least 2 other ways that you make money every month. And it don't have to be the same amount. It don't have to be like a huge amount like what you make from your job. Because, of course, most of your money is going to come from the 40 hours or 60 hours that you work a week, or 50 hours. Or how many hours you work. Excuse me. But, yeah, man, like, try to create you a extra 1 to 2 ways to get paid, you know what I'm saying, consistently. So if you're a creative person, man, and you like to write you an ebook, man, and put it out. If you are a creative and you want to, like, you have a lot of ideas and thoughts, create you a podcast, create you a YouTube. And those aren't gonna monetize right away, but build you something that could monetize and pay you over time in the future, and create some passive income for yourself. If you are talented in something, man, and you could freelance, like a hustle that I do sometimes, man, is I'm really good at writing like resumes and cover letters, right? Ironically enough, right? But if you know how to do that or freelance anything, man, like I used to like when I was an undergrad, like oh my god, like it was a long time ago, man. When I was in college, 14, 15 years ago, man. I used to charge people to write papers for them. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you someone and you're gifted and you know how to like write papers for people or like whatever it is, you want to do dog sitting, you want to do house sitting, you want to clean people cars or like whatever hustle you can freelance, you can do like the where you can build you a Fiverr account and you can put your like build you a profile on there and people can pay you to do certain skills and things like that. And just say like for an example, you are you a resume writer or cover letter writer or whatever you do, man, and you say, "Hey, I'm gonna get 5 gigs per month at $100 each." If you get 5 gigs in a month, that's an additional $500 that's coming into your household. So that's one source of income, right? And then have you something else to where if you can donate uh, a few extra hours on the weekend, if you can, uh, see if you can find like a part-time online job, because if you have access to internet, you have a computer, a laptop, man, a lot of companies are hiring for part-time. Now, the full-time jobs that are permanent and, got good contracts on them, those are the jobs that aren't really hiring. But if you're looking for like some customer service, clerical, like data entry job that you can work 20 hours a week, and if you can find a data entry job, man, or like not just that specifically, but just any part-time job you can work remote, where all you gotta do is just go sit on the couch or go to an office if you're blessed to have a home office, and open up the computer, man, and like work 8 hours on the weekend if you ain't got nothing going on, or just finding a way to create a second or a third income. If if you gotta get a part time job to go with the 40 that you work, man, but it's a job that's less stressful, a job that you may have to type or you may have to do a little customer service. That's another income stream for you, man. And of course you want it to be less stress, because if you're working over 40 hours, that's a lot of work. And you know what I'm saying? But in this economy, man, if you have just one way to get paid, if you got just one source of income, you are playing a very dangerous game. And if you're somebody who you may not be blessed to have a family, or you may not be blessed to have a support unit, and you gotta be responsible for yourself, or you may have children or families you gotta be responsible for, you really owe it to yourself to create multiple ways for money to come into your pocket every month. So, I'm always gonna advocate having a job until you can be self-reliant. So never don't give up your bread and butter, even if it's hard or frustrating. See if you can take some time off. See if you can get some some leave, even if you have to. You know what I'm saying? But man, like get you a few ways, man, like to get it. You know what I'm saying? Because this economy, it doesn't look like it's gonna get better anytime soon, and you have to survive today. So I mean, but the job economy, man, is hard. It's harsh. It's the roughest I ever seen. But I want you to, if you're still watching this video, right, I want you to remain encouraged and keep that joy about you, man. Keep that good spirit about yourself, and know that this whole thing will subside. It will get better. Things, I ain't gonna say they'll go back to normal, but as is, this is not sustainable long term. This job market, you're gonna always need people. I know AI and automation, and people make a lot of content and videos about that, but there'll never be a point to where automation and AI has replaced the human in totality, because one, an economy is only ran off of money being spent, and AI isn't gonna spend money. You can't turn a robot into a consumer to go to Walmart and buy groceries, and then stop by Exxon to buy gas, and then stop by the liquor store to get a bottle of champagne for the holidays for a company picnic or whatever. So you can't You can't replace people. So keep applying, but try to put yourself in a position of where you're actually going to the job sites. This is the last one, and then I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Try not to use third-party sites when you're looking for jobs. So think like if you work in a certain industry and you're looking for a certain job, go directly to that site. Like, so I work in finance, right? So if you wanted to like get a banking job somewhere, I would go directly to that banking website. I wouldn't trust LinkedIn. I wouldn't trust Indeed. I wouldn't trust remote jobs or like, and no offense to those, to any of those companies. Those are good platforms, but if I wanted a job, if I was someone looking for a job right now and I wanted to be a bagger at a grocery store, I would go to Kroger.com. I would go to Albertsons.com. I would go to WholeFoods.com. I wouldn't go to these other job boards that may or may not have real jobs. So have that mindset too, man. If you work in finance or you work in, if you work in education, don't go to Indeed about a teacher job. Think about what school you would want to work for, or go to that ISD website and see what's open, see what's available. Go directly to the source. As always, it's your boy CJ. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm, and I'm out. Peace.